There are certain things that start happening in midlife that no one really prepares you for. Not because they're rare, but because they live in that uncomfortable space between personal and universal. And somehow, when something feels personal, we decide we're supposed to carry it quietly. So instead of talking about it, we adjust. We plan around it, we normalize not naming it. But today, I want to slow down because silence doesn't make something disappear, it just makes it lonelier. And here, we don't do lonely. Today, we're talking honestly. I'm Minty Rae. Welcome. Come on in, settle. You are among friends. Before we go any further, I want to be clear about the tone of this conversation. This isn't graphic, this isn't confessional, and it's not about exposing ourselves. It is about truth, and it is about normalizing what our bodies experience, especially in seasons we were never taught how to navigate. So today, I want to talk about something many women experience during perimenopause and menopause, but almost no one says out loud. Bladder changes. And even saying the words can make us shift in our seat. Um, and so that's when you know um, it's something to talk about. At this stage of life, our bodies are not static, they're responsive, they're communicating. Our hormones are shifting, sometimes subtly, sometimes all at once, like a flood. Our muscles respond differently than they used to. Um, Recovery changes, sensation changes, and stress doesn't just stay in the mind. It settles down into our bodies. It stores in our bodies and it waits. And unless we actively help the body release it, it shows up in ways that we don't always expect. I've shared practices on this channel about moving stress out of our body, and that matters. But this conversation, this one asks for something else. One thing that I've learned that makes a difference is building strength, specifically in the hips and pelvic region. Yes, hip thrusts, not glamorous, not Instagram cute, but powerful. And what I appreciate about them is that they remind us of something important, that our bodies do respond to care. Our bodies respond when we give them attention, when we give it attention. Um, our bodies respond to consistency. And no, you don't need a gym, you don't need special equipment. In fact, I'll link a simple at home option for doing hip thrusts. And they can be done right in front of your sofa or couch. I'm not a trainer, I'm not prescribing, I'm simply sharing what can help with feeling more connected to your body and more confident being inside of it. When I started researching this bladder issue, what surprised me most was how common it is. Depending on this study, you see between 30 and 60% of women experience bladder changes during menopause. Sit with that. That's not a fringe experience. That's not rare. 30 to 60% of women. That's millions of women. Um, and most are sitting quietly, managing something that they think they're not supposed to talk about. And that silence, that's the part that I want to interrupt. As estrogen declines, the bladder often joins the conversation. Um, and I want to be clear here. This does not mean something is wrong with you. It means that your body is adapting. It means you're human. And yes, it probably means you're over 40. One thing many women notice, and often only in hindsight, is that everyday habits can quietly influence um, these symptoms. Alcohol, carbonated drinks, artificial sweeteners, and sometimes highly processed foods. Not because you're eating too much, hey, I'm not judging, but because our bodies are more sensitive at our current level, you know, level 55 and such. It's something that I've heard from one of my favorite YouTubers, Shalene Johnson, say, and that is to refer to us as being at a certain level. You know, the higher you go, the potentially more sophisticated you get. Um, so a little of this stuff might be fine, but a lot and well, warm water, almost out of nowhere. But here's the important part. This isn't about restriction. It's about noticing. It's about curiosity. Because when you understand your body's patterns, you regain choice. Simple things can help. Hydration, hip circles, posture changes. Me, I aim for close to a gallon of water a day, not perfectly, but intentionally. Um, Standing after long periods of sitting. Say if you've been sitting for an hour, it's time to stand and move gently for 2 to 5 minutes. And then when you sit again, maybe change the position from how you were sitting before. Just know that letting your body move is a win. You know, our bodies are really meant to be in motion. And of course, they also deserve adequate rest. Even calf raises. Um, you may know that your calves are sometimes called the second heart because when they contract, they help circulate blood back up towards the heart. So, say 2 sets of 10 calf raises, slow, mindful, um, but these movements matter. So, this conversation isn't about fixing yourself. Um, it's about tending to yourself. This conversation, it's about recognizing that your body is not betraying you. Your body instead is communicating with us. And the goal isn't control over yourself. That's more rigid than we want. The goal is relationship with yourself. It's awareness without shame, support instead of resentment. As far as we know, it's the only body that we get, and it deserves patience. So, I talk about this because Isolation balloons discomfort, and it expands it and makes it so much worse. When we think we're alone, everything just feels heavier. But this is common. This is shared. This is human. And shared experiences deserve shared language. So if this resonates with you, you belong here. You don't owe us a story, you don't owe us details, but if you want to share, the space is open. And if you don't, that's okay too. Sometimes just hearing someone say it out loud is enough to soften the load. All right, ladies, I'll see you next time. And until then, be gentle with yourself.